Good morning, everyone. This is Michele Hughes from Ageless and Timeless. Today, I have a guest that I met about a year or so ago at the Radfest Festival, and his name is Brian Burzynski, and he's the founder and inventor of a company product called Intelligent Thread. So welcome, Brian. Nice to meet you again.
Good to see you.
Okay, so tell us, Brian, when we met, I was with you and Ron, your one of your former colleagues, and you all gave me a demonstration. So I want my viewers to understand a little bit about what Intelligent Threads is, but first I want them to know who you are.
Absolutely.
So tell us about your journey. How did you get from there to here? Just give us a history.
Absolutely. Growing up, I became a janitor in high
Oh,
school. Yeah, and I just my buddy's aunt owned a janitorial service, and it was a great job we could do after school. And but I vacuumed. That was one of my jobs. So I had an industrial strength vacuum that I vacuumed. It felt like half a football field a night, but maybe it wasn't that much. And perfect triangles, right? And it was a real heavy vacuum. So my sophomore year, when I started, I had pretty good posture. And my junior year, I tightened up so much on my right side because I never used my left hand. And then by my senior year, the pictures I have, I'm like this.
right.
And my performance in basketball as a big basketball player, it dropped. I was better my sophomore year statistically and moving around than I was my senior year. And I hurt myself real bad with my ankle. I went to rehab, did all that stuff. And a month later, I went to the doctor and he said, well, it's going to be another month for your swelling starts to go down. And I thought, what in the world? And I thought, well, that's the end. That's the end of my career. Not that I mean, I was in high school, but I wanted to go play college ball. My dad played college ball. I wanted to go play. And my mom goes, let's go see this guy. And there was a man in Waco. I'm from Waco, Texas. And he walks in, I walk in the room and I have an air cast on my ankle and he looks at me and he goes, your knee's out of place. And I thought, now I'm probably about 17, 18 years old, and I thought, this guy's an idiot. I got a big cast on my ankle and he's talking about my knee.
Right.
And sure enough, he does some stuff and my knee frees up, and all of a sudden I can feel the blood flow go back to my ankle. And I
Hmm.
thought, by the next day, my swelling's gone. By 3 days later, I'm in the gym like nothing ever happened. In fact, he got my body back to its neutral position, and I'm performing like I did my sophomore year.
Wow.
And what it is as I tightened up on that side of the body, I twisted my ankle. Because when
Wow.
I went back and looked at the video, for sure I landed on somebody's foot. No, it was a flat gym floor. I came straight down and just rolled my ankle. Well, that should never happen. But I was so bound up, now I'm more prone to injury. And I was just blown away by that. And I was like, how did he do that? And so I just started immediately studying and learning. And then I started working with him. And that was 25 years ago. And from that, what I do in my office, I'm in my office right now. What I do day to day, we work with people structurally, hands on with their body. But I realized from that, if I can get the muscles that hold the structure out of place to let go, then the body will stay straight or go back straight.
Mhm.
And then they don't have to come back and see me. So it took me 15 years, but I finally figured out how to get all the engaged muscles to let go. And it's as simple as putting on a shirt.
And well, how do you let those muscles go?
Absolutely. So I developed a particle. We call it tension release particle. You could say frequency. Use a method called molecular fixation. And so we open up the molecule, put the particle in there, close it. And so when you put it on, it sends a signal to the body. It actually has to be about an inch away from the body for it to work. And it signals to the muscles to let go. So what happens is when the muscles get tight, the brain's telling it to do that. And what happens is it pulls the shoulders down, say on the right side. Well, your
Hmm.
neck's gonna, that happens, your neck hurts. I know because I
Hmm.
was there at one point. So your body will compensate. So
Hmm.
now the shoulders level, but now the hip hurts. And
Hmm.
then that might last 5 minutes or 5 years. Then you compensate again. And now let's say the knee hurts. And so now you go, oh my God, my knee hurts. And we go look at the knee because that's where the pain's at. But it has nothing to do with the knee. It's a byproduct of the overall compensation. And so I figured, well, you know what? If we can get the overall muscles to let go, then that stops all those compensations. And sure enough, it does. And so that's why when you put it on, you'll see people like this, and all of a sudden they start straightening up, and all those engaged muscles let go, and they just feel so much better. And then we've developed some movements and stretches to do with it as well. And so now you can move even more bones into the right position just by wearing a t-shirt and doing a few movements.
So this is basically the product, Intelligent Threads, which is your
Mhm.
company that you founded,
Mhm.
has in it the science or the technology to help those muscles to relax.
Yep.
Okay, I don't understand how that can work. That just seems too good to be true.
You said that really good. I'm taking notes. Um, so think about your body. Your body is made out of dirt, water, and electricity. So if you put a tinge unit on and you turn it on, your muscles start engaging and disengaging, right? If you get a heart attack and you die, they'll take a defibrillator and hit you. Well, what are they hitting you with? They're hitting you with electricity. They're not hitting you with a force. They're literally hitting you with electricity to try to re-jump your heart. So your body runs on an electrical grid. And so we figure out how to send a signal to that grid or to the muscles to make those let go. Because if you can make them all let go, then it stops the compensational chain. And by doing that, you'll actually stay straight.
Hmm.
Or yeah, I should say you have a greater tendency to stay straight because there's still scar tissue and there's still dumb stuff that can happen. You still have toxicity that can interfere with that kind of signaling. But if you take all those if you take all those away, it will keep your body straight for sure.
So are there names of actual ingredients? Let's say this were a product that
Yeah,
is, you were going to eat or ingest. So you want to know what, are you looking at a supplement? You want to know what's in it that's going to make
absolutely.
the difference. Okay, so tell us more about the ins and outs of what's in the product that in the shirt. Let's say, are you wearing one right now?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Do you wear it every day?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Uh, you don't have to wear it every day once your body stabilizes, but if you wear a dose of it, like my bed sheets, I have bed sheets that have our technology in it. So every night I'm good to go. But when I'm working, my job's pretty physical, so I like to have something on so I don't injure myself or hurt myself. Yeah. What's in it? It's essentially a bunch of different frequencies that we figured out, and in combination creates a signaling process. So it's literally just a bunch of frequencies, but we just figured out, the right ones that cause the muscles to let go. It's a vast amount of them, actually.
So when you say a frequency, can you define that a little bit more for us?
Absolutely. So when you have the neutron, the proton, when they go around and it makes the atom, there's a wiggle to it. And that wiggle is the signature aspect of what it is. So like water, their wiggle rate's really fast. Well, that wiggle rate is the frequency of the atom or the proton or neutron. Now, like concrete or wood, it's really the wiggle rate's really slow. So it's more dense. Um, and so that was really interesting. And if you look at it, an atom is a prize of mostly nothing. So, in comparison, if you had an atom the size of a football field, the middle would be like a grain of rice on the 50-yard lines, and the proton neutrons would be going around the track on the outside of the football field. So, if you took all the open space out of your body and shrunk it down, you would be like this big. And so, once you understand that you're made out of like a neutron cloud, and really you're not even touching each other, you're just bouncing off, your neutrons are bouncing off each other, because if you actually uh, crossed over, you would become each other, right? So really we're just more frequency based, and once you kind of go down that path, you realize everything's frequency based. There's not one thing on the planet that's not frequency based. It's just a different way of thinking, but that's where a lot of people are starting to go to. I mean, a lot of people I talk to now, they'll start talking about different frequencies, the frequency in water, the frequency in this and that. But really, it's just a energetic expression, but you can label it as frequency. Yeah.
I mean, they always say we are all energetic beings, right? So,
Correct. Yeah.
when they talk about chemistry between people,
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
is it that you have some chemistry with one person and another person, there's nada, there's nothing. So
Absolutely.
is that all related to what we're talking about with respect to the frequency of actually the whole human being and their what they are emitting as they interact with others?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. Scientists have found a bioelectrical field that they can measure, so they can measure everything coming off of you and what you project and everything. So there's a measurable field that comes off. There's tons of paper on it. Every plant, every tree has a bioelectrical field that comes off of it. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Once you get into the science of it, you're like, wow, it's not like they're proving it out now. So it's pretty neat.
European Wellness, founded by the iconic and widely published Professor Dr. Michael Chan, is the world leader in stem cell and peptide therapy, with 26 medical and aesthetic spa locations primarily in Europe and Asia. Their website, www.europeanwellness.com, details the wide range of wellness products that can be ordered using the Ageless code for a 10% discount. They will also offer our viewers discounts on medical and cosmetic services and products if they choose to visit the clinics. I have firsthand experience using their wide range of science-based stem cell and peptide products and am now a loyal customer. Go to their website, www.europeanwellness.com, for more information about this exciting company. And that's where aura comes from, right? Like some people, let's go through that because this is fascinating, honestly, Brian.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So how does
Um,
this affect your aura, or how is the frequency connected to the actual aura of the individual being? And then how does that connect with the intelligent threads products that they would select?
yeah, so your body has sensors all over it that are constantly sending signals to the nervous system that what's going on. So like if you touch something, you smell something, you have like your olfactor and different things. But every part of your body has different sensors that in it. It's a nerve, and there's another nerve that wraps around it. It looks like a hair. I try not to use too many technical words because
Right,
I see people look at me like, "What did you say?" But if I can describe it in a way they understand it, then we get
right,
there. And so, like with the aura, um, classic Chinese medicine, they'll say that depending on who you are, how sick you are, your thought process. If you're a good guy, if you're a bad guy, that will change your aura. That can change how much it is, how much you project out, your conscious level, and all that. So, and they have different machines now that can pick up on all that. It's pretty fascinating.
right.
We lately we've been using the subtle energy machine, the heart rate variability machine, the EKG, and stuff like that. We've been testing the body, and so we're finding different aspects of the body change by simply putting it on intelligent threads. Intelligent threads is a particle that we embed into fabric. And so when you
Mhm.
put it on, that's what interacts with it. I don't know if I made that completely
Yeah, I
clear.
know that's where I was
Yeah.
going to go next, but that's
Yeah.
okay. I
Sorry.
like
Yeah.
what you're describing. So you're building the house from the
Building. Yeah.
foundation.
Amen.
Yeah,
The only way to do it.
right. Okay, so okay, this all sounds so simple, because obviously it's very complex
Yeah. Very
what
complex.
you went through. So take us back again to this your journey in high school, and now you're finding out that you are interconnected, that
Mhm.
you're, there's no reason why, I mean, to you as someone that's just starting out, it doesn't seem like it should be the case that your knee would cause your
Amen.
shoulder to be affected, but it is all interconnected because you are all energy.
Right.
So how did you go from there to where you are with what you've developed? I mean, how did you get to understanding that you needed to develop actual uh, wearables or usables that would affect those protocols that you were confronting in terms of your energy?
Yeah. I remember the first year I started working and training with the guy real heavily. I thought to myself, if I can get the engaged muscles to let go, and what I mean by engaged muscles, and I can't find any good literature on this. So let's say this is the placement of the bone in your body, and this is the muscle attaches to it.
Yeah,
When that muscle gets tight, it can
yeah,
hold or pull your structure out of balance. See, I
right,
engage this muscle, so this my bone is now in a different position.
right, got it.
Um, and the only way that's going to go up is if I release this muscle. I mean, if people will go, duh. but don't overthink it. I mean, literally, you see somebody like that, there's
Right,
something holding it.
right,
And so I thought if I can get those to let go, I won't have to have people come back near as much. And sure enough, they don't. I had a case. This guy, his knee was just bad. Then I came up here in his rib cage and I found something that was just locked down. And I released it. And I asked him, I said, what happened? And he goes, I don't know. Well, it turned out that he was younger. He was in the street, caught a football, playing football in the street, and ran into a car. It was a parked car. He didn't get hit by a car. He hit a car. But he's pretty sure he cracked his rib right there. But he wasn't going to tell his dad because he'd get in trouble. So he
right.
just dealt with it. Well, that just kept the whole right side locked down. And so sure enough, he blew his knee out. If that never happened in his rib cage here, or something happened on his right side, he would have never blown his knee out.
Yeah,
Now, if he would have got hit with a sledgehammer in his knee, okay, all bets are off. That's exactly what did it. But he
right.
was warming up on a track doing high leg lifts, and he tripped on somebody. So he thought, because when he fell down, he found a foot right here, and he goes, "Whose foot is this?" And he looked down, and he goes, "Oh, it's my foot."
Oh my
And
God.
he tore every ligament in his knee besides his patella tendon, and they had to rush him to the hospital and take care of him. The guy's like 20 years old. There's no way that should ever happen unless over the last 10 plus years he's been holding that side out of balance, and now all of a sudden it caused tremendous load on the knee, and just one little high leg lift broke it all up. And so when I saw that, I go, okay, so if we can get the body into a right position or right balance, there's just so much less issues that are going to happen. And I didn't even understand when your body's in a nice state, in a what I call original position, or like the way that your body's supposed to be, the way that you're born, most people, the parasympathetic steps in, your body can heal, the stress load drops. There's so many different facets that come from that. Like there's some amazing supplements on the market that are good, and I take supplements. They're good, no doubt. But like, let's get the body straight and then take the supplements. And those supplements are going to have an easier time to work because they're not fighting through a bunch of trauma.
Right,
Let me say it like this. I had somebody come in, or let me say it like this. Everybody that comes into my clinic, when I push on them, they have muscles that are tight. I
right,
have them lay down on the table and I push on them, they're sore and they're tight.
right,
They're laying down on the table. Why is that still tight?
right,
There's no reason for that to be tight. They're laying
right.
flat on the table unless they're compensated for something.
Uh-huh,
And when we're done, there's no more tight muscles left in their body. And now they have the greatest chance to stay straight. And now
uh-huh,
we can give them a product to take home to keep them straight. And if they do get out, we have some moves and stretches to put themselves back in place.
uh-huh.
So,
So do you
to
use
me, yeah.
so you're using some vibrating machines to help to get the muscles to relax, or are you just doing it all manually and did you have to go to chiropractic school, or how did you get to know how to do all this?
Yeah, so we don't use any. I've had to use machines in the past. I still use a couple here and there, but I just literally take our intelligent threads clothing and lay it on them, and then that releases all those engaged muscles. Now here, I'll answer the second question in a second, but let me go into a little more detail here because to me this is fascinating.
No, this is
That
this is
muscle,
really this is really important, Brian, what you're
no,
talking about.
structure is so key. So when
Yeah,
that muscle gets tight, it pulls the bone out of place, right?
yeah, right.
The opposite muscle, there's an effect.
Yeah,
Now that muscle gets pulled tight.
yeah,
Now think about this. It's not engaged, it's pulled.
yeah.
This muscle hurts. This muscle doesn't hurt. This is the problem. This is the pain.
Uh,
Now if I rub this muscle, what's the chances of maybe releasing that muscle? None.
right.
Because think of it like a rubber band being stretched out.
Uh-huh.
Whatever you do to the rubber band is not going to take the tensity away unless you cut it. Now, if you ripped it or you cut it, sure, the pitch
Uh-huh.
is gone. But the only way to get that rubber band to release is to move it back together.
Hmm.
So the only way to get that muscle to let go is to move the bone back, and then it lets go.
And how do you do that? How do you,
Well,
without breaking a bone, how do you get the bone?
no, absolutely. Well, you got to get the other muscle to let go,
Yes.
Sometimes the bones will automatically go back in the right position because the ligaments and tendons are trying to hold it in the right position.
Uh-huh.
So, but if I take this pulled muscle right here, right, and I rub it real hard, what happens is rub it, stim it, heat, ultrasound it. What happens is I fatigue the nerve. When I fatigue the nerve, man, it feels better. About an hour, maybe a couple of days, and then it hurts again. Man, I need to go get a. So you got a positive results. You go, okay, let's see how we can do it harder and deeper. Let's get in there with our elbow. And there's nothing wrong with that when it comes to breaking up scar tissue or releasing engaged muscles. But so many times we're spending time releasing or working on muscles that are being pulled tight. Well, the only way to release those is to get the bones back in place. And the cool part is once the muscles let go, the pulled muscles, the muscles doing the pulling let go,
Mm-hmm.
then now the body will start correcting itself on its own, and we have some movements to put even more bones in the right position. Like I could give you a ton of different examples, but when you see it in person, you'll be like, "Wow, that makes sense." Hopefully what I'm saying, it makes sense to me. So
Well, of course, it's going to make sense to you because you're living it. But to somebody
yeah,
that's uneducated about all of this, it's like Greek. Okay, they're
it
learning a new
is
language, but yet logically, what you're saying makes sense because the body is all interconnected, or everything is
exactly.
interconnected. So that's why they talk about the meridians, and if you in Chinese medicine, qi, the energy that goes from the head to the toe, right? And
Right.
all the different meridians that affect that. So, but okay, so give us some examples of the types of people that would come to you. Are you working with like the NFL teams or any of the major sports teams because this happens all the time in athletics, right? And obviously it
All the
happened to
time.
you. So give us some examples of people that you've actually worked with. If you can't say names, it's okay, but
Yeah, so I've worked on people from every sport, NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. Um, one of our clients we started working on, I think around 2005, 2006, was Tracy McGrady. He like led the NBA in scoring. He's a real big deal. And then we've worked on there's tons and tons of athletes. I could drop names. T.O. is one of my guys. I love T.O. Terrell Owens. He played in the NFL for I think 15 years or so,
yeah.
and we were there most of the time with him. And he just now a couple weeks ago became I think he's 50 something, 51, 52. He just became a professional pickleball player.
Oh,
So I called him up. I said, "Hey man, if you need some work," he goes, "Yeah, I probably will."
well,
So
whenever somebody talks about pickleball, I think, okay, well, now they've graduated from being into the golden years because it seems
yeah,
like, I mean, I realize a lot of young people are, under 50 are playing pickleball now, but it
yeah,
just seemed like, for me, I was always a tennis player, and to go to pickleball was like, oh, no, 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 that means I'm getting old. I can't do that. I have to stay with
right.
tennis and know that it's a full thing. So speaking of tennis, when someone gets tennis elbow, which all tennis players seem to get, is that something that this would apply to?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
explain that just as one example. How would you fix a tennis elbow?
Absolutely. And I'll backtrack just a little bit and then tie it right into it. Majority of people that come into me, they've already been everywhere else. They've seen everybody and nobody can help them because it's a structural imbalance.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to address the entire body. So people that have tennis elbows, sometimes it's as simple as changing the angle of the racket as they serve.
Mm-hmm.
You can fix it that way, but overall, if there's a pull, say through the shoulders, the neck, the upper thoracic, it's going to pull on the elbow wrong, and so that's going to cause tension within the forearm, and then pull through the elbow essentially. So there again, by getting that structure right, it's going to stop the pull there, and then you'll get better. Like I'll say this: a lot of people think, "Oh, Brian shirt's a pain reliever." It does help pain, but in its core, it's not. I don't want to mask pain. I want to fix it at a root cause level. Now,
Right,
if you have an infection in your tooth and you put my shirt on, yeah, it's
right.
it's going to help a little because it will help blood flow and everything relax, but
Right,
your body still has to fight against that infection.
right,
If you have a structural imbalance that's causing pain, yeah, it's going to help that. And it might be a day or two before it helps it, because it might take a time for your body to recalibrate.
right. So
Yeah.
in the manufacturing process of the all of the the shirts and all the other products, which we'll go through the products that you offer, because I was really kind of shocked at the show when I saw all that you could do. I mean, you could wear the shirts, you could sleep on the sheets, you could you sent me a pillowcase that I think it's made of bamboo, the one that I
Mhm.
got. And yeah, and I mean, I don't have any real injuries or anything except I broke an ankle, but that pillowcase, I don't know if that's going to, it was just as a side note, would that pillowcase affect my broken ankle?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
it'd help it. Yeah.
I broke it long before I started using your pillowcase, so it was already pretty well healed, but still,
Good.
that
Yeah,
was
good.
an injury, but injuries can reoccur too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But tell us about the manufacturing process. So let's just start like with the very first step. What happens? Tell us how it evolves into a product.
Yeah, so we source materials from all over. We put them together, and so right now we've actually found a couple of key companies to work with now. And then I had to build out a machine, and so we essentially take the fabric and put it through the machine, and by doing that, we can actually do the molecular fixation into the fabric. And the nice part is the way that we're bonded into the fabric, it doesn't wash out. At least we can say after 10 years, it still works like day one. So that's the nice part. Once you get something, don't keep. I mean, you can buy whatever you want to buy, but one shirt, one pillowcase, it works really good for a long time.
Well, so how do you inject the molecular
Ah,
into the actual
yeah,
product? And
I have a machine that does it. So I had to build out a machine, and essentially, we run the clothing through that. It's just a process that it goes through that takes some time. But it literally projects the particles right into the fabric at a molecular submolecular level. Yeah.
and so the raw materials, the molecular
Oh yeah.
fabric. Yeah, tell us about that.
So I had to build another machine to actually even create the particle, and that's what took me 15 years to figure out. And then I just basically got a lot of different. I finally figured out the combinations of frequencies that it takes to get the muscles to let go, and
Hmm.
then we've been playing with that ever since. And now I'm back in the lab, trying to figure out the next product. So,
And what do you think that next product will be?
well, I don't know. I started. I There's a lot actually, because if I can do this with the muscles, what else can we do? So I started playing around with like a focus cap, and I had a PGA golfer wear it because it'll help us focus. Because think about it, if you can focus when you play, how good would that be?
Hmm.
And he said, Brian, about the ninth hole, he got so tired he couldn't take it, and he had to take the hat off. And the rest of the game, he could hardly focus. But he said that first 7, 8 holes, he was dialed in. So I was thinking, okay, you probably shouldn't be focused for like 3 hours straight like that. Especially like being able to focus, because really you focus when you shoot the ball, and the rest of the time you're not dialed in, that like extreme focus. But he's walking around extreme focus. I've been looking at different things like weight loss and anything that can help the body, inflammation, stuff like that. And we're starting to see some grounds made with it, but um, we'll see how it turns out. So.
Do you have to patent all this technology, or how do you protect yourself from competitors?
Yeah, good question. So we keep it a trade secret. I went to 3 different patent attorneys, and they all told me don't patent it. And I said, why not? And they said, well, if you when you patent something, you have to tell exactly how you do it. If they can't replicate it from the patent's void. And I was like, really? They're like, yeah. They're like, so can you keep it a trade secret? I was like, yeah. So far, no one's even remotely figured it out. And they said, okay. They said, well, if you patent it, you're going to tell exactly how you do it. You're going to blow up, and then Nike or China or somebody will come in and be like, okay, we're going to take this. And then you can't fight against China. And then they own the clothing market, and they can just basically undercut you in every way. And I thought, huh. And they said, yeah, you're going to put all the work in, tell everybody how it works, and they'll just scoop in and undercut you in a major way. And I said, okay. He goes, as long as you feel like there's no way people can figure it out. And so far, I've talked to some pretty high end top scientists, NASA people, and different things, and they have no clue what we're putting together or how we're doing it. So what I'm basically doing is I'm keeping everything under wraps. I have the machines out in different places, and we just keep them protected and don't worry about it.
You know, this almost seems like voodoo. It's just so, I'm sorry to, I'm not trying to,
Yeah, no, for sure.
it just doesn't seem like it could be possible, but yet
Right.
but it's working and you have testimonials. How do you get the credibility gap? How do you
Yeah.
explain? I'm sorry.
Exactly. No, exactly. No, that's a great question. So the funny part was at first I didn't believe myself. Like I had the product and I started testing. And I was like, did that really happen? And I did a ton of studies and tests myself. And now I know that didn't add validity to anything because I'm testing my own product. But yeah, so I tested it for a while before I released it into the general public. And then I finally believed in my own product. The no, those and I don't blame anybody for thinking that way because think about it. Like when electricity first came out, what do you compare that to? There's nothing really compared to. And I imagine the first time somebody got shocked, like Edison's over there or Tesla's over there, shocking people, like, what the heck is this? This is crazy. You mean
Mhm.
I can flip a switch and a light bulb turns on? That's voodoo. How does that work? I'm like, now we don't even think about it. It's just normal. It's natural. Like I think about like a microwave. Think about that. For years, you're heating up in an oven over a fire, and then all of a sudden you put it in a box, and it doesn't even heat up inside. Like you can put your hand right in there, and it's good. So how does that work? That's crazy. And so it's just a newer technology. It's something that's coming down the pipeline, but it's something that's going to help a ton of people. I mean, if we can get rid of the structural imbalances or the majority of it in people, I mean, it's gonna help a lot of people. And that's my heart is to help people. So I don't blame people at all, people all the time. And they go, that's impossible. And I go, it was until it's figured out. And I really believe there's not a whole lot of things that are impossible. We just haven't figured it out yet. So I just pushed the boundaries of my belief and I
Mhm.
figured out something that just, as far as I know, previously wasn't there.
Okay, it all sounds, so amazing and really miraculous. Like if this could really work for people, and you obviously have a lot of people including yourself, that it has worked for. But that is not addressing going from A to B to start and create an entrepreneurial company.
Sure.
And I think you're so modest and humble that you're not really, addressing some of the challenges. Because let's face it, 99, well, what do they say? Only 2% of the companies that get created ever are successful. So
Yeah.
98% fatality rate for startup companies, and yet you're
Yeah.
still here and you're still thriving and you're
10
growing.
years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years is it?
10. I've had the
10.
technology for 10 years now. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take this and dissect it. Okay, how are
Okay.
you in
Yeah.
that? How do you feel that you've become one of the 2%ers versus the 98% that fail?
Man, I feel like I'm still trying to make it.
Well,
I don't know when I'll make it. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I think because I don't care, it's not about me, it's not about my desire, it's about helping other people. Like if I gain nothing from it, I don't care. If I help a ton of people, that's where it's at. So I think I don't care how long it takes. It's not about me, it's about helping other people. And then
Mhm.
every day I got to see the effects of it and how it helps people. And now we're getting all these testimonies in from all these different people. Um, the other day, I was at my friend's clinic. He just put in a new kombucha drink in the front of his thing.
Kombucha. Yeah.
So we went over there to drink some, and he goes, "Show." There's two girls working behind the counter. She goes, "Show them your product." And I said, "Oh, absolutely," because the demo when you push on it's really good, right? As you experienced. And so the one girl, she wasn't that bad. She goes, "Yeah, I think I can feel the difference." And quite frankly, if you're completely straight and you have no stress in your body, the shirt's not going to do a lot for you. I just never met that person.
Right.
Um,
I don't think there's anybody that doesn't, and particularly as they're getting into the, adult years, because they've
Yeah.
had all these years now, like you did, to get
Hmm.
injured or to do something to tweak the body. The body is a miracle, but it isn't so miraculous that it doesn't get in some way damaged, because
Absolutely.
we tend to do activities that create that trauma. So,
Yeah.
so, so
And
what
the other,
happened
oh,
is
sorry. Yeah. Yeah. The other girl, she says, she said, "Oh, I injured my shoulder. I can't raise it up." We said,
oh,
"Oh, okay, cool." We said, "Good." So I do the push test and I push on her, and I put the shirt over her shoulders or technology on her, and I push on her again. She goes, "Oh my gosh, the pain's gone." And I said, "Yeah, it doesn't hurt anymore." She goes, "Well, how about my shoulder?" I said, "Well, try to raise it." And she raises it straight up. And
wow.
she looks at it and she starts bawling. I mean, crying. Now, usually somebody hurts their shoulder and they can move it again. It's cool, it's miraculous, but
Right,
it's not like I was sobbing.
right.
And so we're kind of like, why are you crying so much? Like she goes, no, you don't understand. I injured it when I was born.
Oh,
I've never been able to pull my shoulder up in my life.
oh my God.
She
How
goes,
did
I've
how
been
did,
in PT and rehab, and we've been stretching it and trying to get it up, but it won't go there. She's like, "This is the first time I can do that." I was like, "Well, here, let me give you a high five." So I gave her I was the first person to ever give her a high five. So I was, stuff stories like that just drives you because
right.
maybe eventually she could have, but it was literally like couldn't do it. All of a sudden, she could do it.
Wow, it's amazing that she would have gone from birth to wherever she was in her life cycle to not have anyone be able to create mobility, even with all
Yeah.
the technology that's available today, like the PEMF machine or,
Oh yeah.
all
Which
the
are all
other.
which are all good. There's a time and place for all of them. Yeah.
So, okay, so now I want you to go through how do you create a company side of this? Did you go get funding? How did you do this? Let's get deeper, do a deeper
A-
dive.
Absolutely. So first thing I did is I tested it. I tested it for a while just to make sure it was on the up and up. And what I did double blind studies myself. I'd have people lay down. I would do the push test. We put the shirt on. We wouldn't even tell them what we're doing. And they would be like, "Hey, wait a minute, that doesn't hurt anymore. How's that work?" And they have no clue. And I'm like, "Okay." So I built my belief system in it and proved it out to myself. No, you can't talk me out of it. The next thing I did is I thought, okay, I need to make a black shirt, and that's all I want to make. And I'm gonna start a website, and then it'll catch on, and I'll just sit back and it'll work.
And how old were you at this point?
That was about 9 8 9 years ago.
Okay, so that would have made you what? Not
I
to
was
mass.
36, 37.
Okay, so you were old enough to know better in your
Yeah.
life.
I work with people's bodies. I don't run companies. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Yeah.
know how to do business. And
This is why I'm asking the question, Brian,
oh,
because
absolutely.
your background, you did never had this experience before, and yet here we are, and it's so amazing to hear your story.
Yeah, and so then I connected with the business guy, and he helped me. The first guy helped me a ton. He kind of was like, "Hey, you need." Well, he's the one that helped me get a website. We actually made different types of clothing, and then he kind of served his role. And then I kind of learned what he learned, and so he kind of went his way. We're still friends, nothing like that.
Right,
It's just he helped me to where he could help me. So then I
right.
connected with another business guy, and then I started diving into business books and started reading like crazy. And he kind of helped me to a certain point. Then I connected with another business guy, and he helped me. But really, I just mentored with a lot of different people,
Mhm.
which
Or
is awesome. Yeah,
you were mentored by a lot of different people. That's what I
yeah.
think you meant to
A lot,
say.
a lot. Sorry, yes, sorry. A lot of business guys. Um, yeah, like in my practice, when I work with people, I've mentored with, say, like chiropractors or dentists or somebody that's had like working with the general public. So I believe in mentorship, and I believe in reading books because you
Mhm.
can get a lot of information just by reading a book. And then And we started doing trade shows because the biohacking community, they're looking for what we had. Because I thought I have a huge, vast network in the sports world.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was when we went to the sports world, the guy goes, "This is really good. I'm not going to tell anybody." Well, no, no, tell everybody. No, no, no. This is my secret. This is going to help me out. I don't want to tell the rest of my teammates, which I don't blame them because it's a cutthroat business.
Right.
And so we realized going the biohacking world, those people, there's more of them. First off, there's millions of them, and they're looking for what we have.
Right.
We just have to prove to them that it works. So we started doing trade shows, and my goodness, everybody love. I mean, we had some people go, "That's not true," or the haters. That's great, and I don't blame them because, quite frankly, I wouldn't have believed it either
Mm-hmm.
until I experienced it. And so, but once people experience it, it's really good. Like the last weekend, we were just at a chiropractic conference, and really, everybody there is really nice. And we showed them the science, and we showed them this and that, and they all were like, "Wow, that's really cool." So the receptions were, and then the other thing is, we started doing lots of different testing. We had different parties come in and do testing. We're just doing a test right now. We're doing we have we actually have like 3 or 4 tests ready to go. As soon as we get this first one done, then we're going to go back and do a bunch more. So I don't think that will ever stop. So we brought in the credibility of it. We made the fashion. Then we got all different types of clothing, bed sheets, pillowcases. So usability, fashionability. We raised that up as well, and then we started raising awareness and marketing. I'll tell you a story. There was there was a book that we read, and the author of the book, we called the author up and said, "Hey, can we, as a business book, we say, hey, can we meet with you?" And their company said, "Yeah, this person will meet with you." So we meet with them, and the author of the book says, "Wait, Intelligent Threads, Brian Burzynski?" And they go, we said, "Yeah." "Oh, I love your product. I use it all the time, and I give it to all my friends." And we go, "Really?" They go, "Yeah." They're like, "How can I help you?" And so they literally kind of gave us the book, basically gave us a blueprint of what to do, and we just followed it. And so there was a bunch of strategies in there, and so we kicked off the social media game, which I didn't think was possible. And this year, our social media has jumped off the roof. And that's now their internet sales, where before it was one-on-one storefront conferences. Now all of a sudden, we're seeing a big game in the social
Mm-hmm.
media and internet. And then now, because we're reaching all over the world, we're getting testimonies in from everywhere, and we're starting to see a huge groundswell. So it's like, okay, here we go.
So
So,
where can people,
10
where
years
can
later,
somebody who's a doubting Thomas, where can they go to to allay their concerns or their doubts? How do they get to be confident and become a devotee of your products?
absolutely. We have a couple of different places they can go. Obviously, they can come to Texas. We have a storefront and also an office that has the technology. People in there are trained. They can show you firsthand exactly how it works. I think that is the best way. Another way you can do is just order something online. It's a 30-day money back guarantee. Try it. There's a video that shows you how to do the push test or the pain relieving test yourself. There's some movements you can do to check it. If you have an HRV machine or like an Oura ring or whatever, once you put it on, you can track your sleep and your HRV and different things, and you can see
Mhm.
the improvement in that as well. We see
Mhm.
that pretty much across the board with unless you have an amazing sleep score, we see a change in that as well.
Mhm.
And then we do different conferences. We have 3 more conferences coming up this year, and we posted online. So I'll meet you in the lobby.
Mhm.
I'll meet you at a restaurant or whatever,
Mhm.
and I'd love to show you because once you feel it, you'll get it. Until then, it's intriguing, but I always suggest, hey, get something. I'll give you your money back if you think it's a bunch of hooey. And
Mhm.
quite frankly, I don't blame people for thinking it could be a hooey or a bunch
Mhm.
of hooey because there's a lot of junk out there as well.
So yeah, this is true, and I was just reading an email this morning from one of my podcast guests, is Dr. Goodnow from Prodrome Sciences, and he does a lot of work with. Well, he has a whole supplement line, but he does a lot of work with plasmalogens, which
Mhm.
are lipid molecules, and basically he's done some amazing work. But his title of his email this morning was 98% of all supplements are garbage. So, and that includes products too that are out there. So you have to be so careful and
Yep.
discerning. And
You
like
do.
you said, you better fix yourself and then start the supplements, because the supplements could just be doing nothing if your body's still out of alignment, or you have some organ problem, or whatever, that you're better off trying to do things structurally like you're doing. So
Some people need the structure work first, and I think some people do need the supplementation first. Maybe they're deficient in something, so
right,
it's a person basis. Supplements are great. I'm not knocking them. You just gotta find the right ones
you
for
just have
sure.
to have the right ones. Okay, so since you're bringing that subject up, what supplements do you take, or would you share with our viewers to, basically, if they want to go just buy, several that they think will be compelling?
Yeah. So on our website, synergyreleasemethod.com, I linked the vitamins that I take in there because everybody was asking me this, and so it makes it simple.
Okay.
The website in there is called Mother Earth Labs. But if you can just go to our website and figure it out. It's the pH balance. Stuart Hoover, Dr. Hoover, he figured out that uh, he was a nutritionist, and he was selling like 10, 20 vitamins per person, like coming in the door because they needed it. So he just combined everything in one,
Mm-hmm.
which is genius, and it's a liquid, and it's um, when you read the label, it's like foo, 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 foo. There's so much stuff in it, it's ridiculous. So it was funny because I was talking to him, and he was like, "You should try my supplement." I was like, "Okay, what's in it?" And he said, "What are you taking?" I told him, and I was taking probably about $200, $300 a month in vitamins,
Mm-hmm.
which isn't hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Well, everything you're taking is in my formula, plus a whole lot more." I said, "Well, how much is your formula?" He's like, "About $50 a month." And I was like,
Wow.
well, I'm kind of dumb if I don't try it at this point." I
Wow.
think I think now that was 15 years ago. I think now it's like $70 a month, but still.
Right.
And I started taking it, and I couldn't tell anything physically, but cognitively I could definitely tell a difference in there. But it's one of the best mitochondria builders I've seen.
Okay.
But since then there's some really cool advancements that come out. Like before we got on there, we were talking about a supplement. Um, Nathan Bryant,
Yeah. The,
his
the
stuff
nitric
I love.
oxide.
Yeah, nitric oxide. He's the guy that kind of figured it out. That guy, I love him. First off, he's an amazing fellow, but he's got a great product. But it's interesting because I'll find myself wanting to take that one because it's two different things, right? And then
Exactly.
there's a guy named Ian Mitchell who has Wizard Sciences. Most of his are, I can't say most, all of his products are good, but there's a couple of them like the Neuro RX or the Olympics RX. So that's some of the stuff that he's coming up with. I'm just blown away by. And the other company I really like is Activation Products, Ian Clark. All these people I've got to know over the years, because what I like to, if I find something, I'm going to go figure it out and talk to the people and get to understand it and
Mhm.
really push through. Um, and I take a variety of different things from all these people. But he has some stuff. Some of his stuff is just common sense, and it's pretty much free. He'll teach you how to take care of your body. Won't really. Some of the stuff he's taught me doesn't cost anything.
What?
So it's pretty cool. Oh yeah,
You know what? When we get off the air, if you could send me a list, because I want my assistant to put, if it's okay with you, to put it in the
yeah,
show notes, but I want her
sure.
to have the right names and the right, because everything you've mentioned, except Nathan Bryan, of course, who's, my friend, and I've been on my podcast, and I just told you before that I wrote an article on him in Top Doctor magazine. So,
Yeah, it's awesome.
so he and I take his lozenger every day.
Good.
So yeah, nitric oxide is the bomb, right? As they
It
say.
really is. It really is really good. Yeah,
But if you could list those other ones for us, so we make
absolutely.
sure we have the right names, the right products, and are those mostly liquids? I know you mentioned one is liquid, the first one, but
Yeah, yeah. Most of them are liquid.
yeah, because liquid seems to be much more absorbable, particularly
Hmm.
if people have inflammation or digestive issues. Because let's face it, they have to go through your GI tract to
Yeah,
get to where they're going to be. And
yeah, yeah.
So are you taking an NAD product for the molecular?
Yeah. Ian Clark, or Ian, excuse me, Ian Mitchell. I get it's Ian Clark and Ian Mitchell. Those, anyways.
Yeah,
Ian has a product that has that in there, and it's really good. I like it a lot.
because NAD is so hard to absorb, just like glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. You know,
The,
you
the,
can take them and they're just not ever going to get to where they need to be.
he's literally figured out how to combine a couple of things with it to make it work even better in the body. In my opinion, he and the little bit of research I've done, it's the best one I've seen on the market.
Oh, that's
Maybe there's
something.
a maybe there's a better one out there. I don't, it's not my
Right.
forte, but I've done a little bit of research and just talking with him, seeing the studies behind it. I'm like, wow, this got to be the best one on the market. He goes, we think so. So
Well,
I've
not
been pretty
only am
impressed.
I interested in knowing about them for my viewers, but also potentially for being a podcast guest.
Oh yeah, they do it for sure. They
Yeah,
love that
because
kind of stuff.
you know, there's so many charlatans in the world and of supplements. So to get those that are really efficacious
Mhm.
is that's really
I,
important. So
I found great value in all those people, and there's probably some other ones too out there. There's a new doctor that I'm starting to work with that I'm really liking a lot. So I'm always keeping my ear to the street.
yeah, so give us a list. Give me a list on
Yeah,
text
no,
or
no
email.
problem.
That'd be
Yeah,
great. So when we spoke briefly the other day, you said there was a doctor that was having an aha moment with your products and you're now working. So tell us a little bit about who that is and what's happening.
yeah. Dr. Jeffries, we were at a trade show together, and um, his booth was next to our booth, and he kept seeing us have people come to our booth and freak out, and go, "Oh my gosh!" and I feel better, and their structure straightens up, and he's just watching it. And so finally, we had a little lull, and he walks over to our booth and he says, "What are you doing?" And I
Right?
said, "Well, let me show you." So I did the same thing to him, and he goes, "Huh?" He goes, "I can tell you if you're actually doing something or not, if it's placebo or not." I said, "Absolutely. What do you have in mind?" He says, "Come over to my booth," which is like, 5 steps over, and he goes, "Sit down." He goes, "Do you wear your stuff all the time?" I go, "Yeah, I have some on right now." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Okay." He hooks me up to these machines, right? Put stuff here and in my stomach. And he goes, "All right, be still." So I'm sitting there and I'm watching him, and he's running a scan to see how well I am. And at first he's like, "Okay." And then you see him go, "Oh." And then you kind of see the face lighten. He's like, "Oh." And then he starts smiling a little bit. And this is over a couple minute period of time. Then he starts laughing. He's like, "Well," he goes, "Yeah." And he's smiling real big. He goes, "Well, Brian, congratulations. You have a body of a 14-year-old kid."
Oh, wow.
And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I do thousands of tests like this all the time." He goes, "Whatever you're doing is working." And I
Wow.
go, "Really?" Because I don't know what he does. And
Right.
he goes, "I want to test your product." And I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I've never seen anything like this." And I
Wow.
was like, "Really?" And so I was like, "Absolutely. What do you want?" He was like, "Don't pay me anything. I'll buy product from you and then I'll test it." I was like, because I don't want it to be tainted in any way. He
Uh-huh.
goes, "Brian, but whatever I find, I'm going to put out there." I said, "Great, go for it." And
Uh-huh.
so several months, oh, it's probably been 4 or 5 months at this point. He goes, "Brian, you don't understand what you have." And I go, "Yeah, I have this, it does this, it does." He goes, "No, no, no, no. It goes so much deeper." He goes, "Once you get the body in the right positional and take all the stress off of it, everything gets better." And I go, "Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's my theory." He goes, "No, no, no, I can prove this out." He goes, "You're once you go in the parasympathetic state, once you put that on within 15 minutes, everything balances out. Your brain does this, your skin does this, your hormone levels does this." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah. I've been trying to find somebody like Dr. Jeffries for a long time." And so hopefully within the next month or two, he has a white paper put out and then up for review. And the cool part is anybody could use those same machines and test it and should get the same results.
What was the machine that he used?
I believe it's called Neuralink. He
Okay.
came up.
Oh,
He has, yeah, he has a machine, and what it does is scans you. But he uses several different types of machines in the testing he's doing for us.
and where does he practice, Dr.
Uh,
Jeffries?
Virginia, up in
Uh,
Virginia.
okay, so will you put him in the notes too? I want to learn more about it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's great.
He seems to be. I don't. Like I said, I've probably only known him half a year, but he seems to be a great fella and really has a heart to help people. That's what I look for. I look for a heart to help people. When people
Exactly.
start talking to me about how to make a ton of cash and da da
Yeah.
da da da, I'm like, okay, I get it. You got to have a business aspect to it, but how do we help people? I don't
Yeah.
know. That's just how I look at stuff. So.
That's a very noble mission, honestly, Brian. And that's why I started this podcast because, like we've had other histories, other experiences in our lives that certain things
Mhm.
are those aha moments where you say, you know what, it's time to do something that I want to, give back. Basically, it's philanthropic in the
Yeah.
sense that you're trying to, help another human being to realize their best potential. So before we get off, because I just got signaled that we're at the end of our time, what I know we talked briefly about you wanting to incentivize our viewers to try your product. What is it that you would like to suggest, and how can people take advantage of your whatever offer you want to make?
Yeah, right now, if you go on our website, you can get free shipping on first orders, so that's cool. Then let's figure out if we could do something else too. Unfortunately, I wasn't prepared to like offer something at this
Yeah, I
moment.
should. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I knew there was something else I was supposed to
No,
ask you.
well, we're redoing our website, and so we're supposed to launch today or tomorrow. And I don't know if the offer I'm not a technical guy,
Okay.
so I refer to
Okay,
the other
well,
people. But
why don't we talk offline?
absolutely,
A lot of our guests will use the ageless code, and there'll be some percentage
okay, yeah, for sure,
for the first order. It would not go on in perpetuity, but just something that would, drive people to say, okay, this is really intriguing. How do I get some advantage for trying? So that's up to
absolutely.
you. It's completely up to you. And I didn't mean to put you
Okay.
on the spot.
Oh no,
Um,
let's do something for sure. Yeah.
okay, very good. Well, is there anything that you would like to say in closing? One, like a final statement to sum this whole thing up?
Yeah, I think it's all about loving and helping people. So the more that you can love somebody, the better off you are in all areas. I think and we didn't talk about this, but I think forgiveness and emotional health is really important as well.
Mhm.
So figure out who you need to forgive them. And a lot of times it's yourself. You need to forgive
Mhm.
yourself and love yourself. So if you can love yourself and forgive yourself and help other people, your life is going to be so much better, no
Yeah.
matter where you are in life. So that's kind of
Well, well,
my thought process.
you sound, I've been obviously after Charlie Kirk's assassination, there's been
Oh,
so
mm,
much spiritual revival, and and you can't go on the internet without hearing people express this very same feelings that you've just expressed, which is, adding on some of the other aspects of free speech and so forth. But the spiritual energy that comes from self-love, I think, is one of the biggest ways to release a lot of tension in the body, right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not taking any drugs. This is the other
Yep.
thing that people are forgetting, that these chemicals, and I don't mean to proselytize, but when people take a lot of chemical drugs, pharmaceuticals or recreational, they're basically, putting into their body substances that are just not naturally meant to be there. So
Yeah.
yeah, they may help a symptom, but there's going to be deeper problems. So if you can find the solutions without having chemicals, don't you think that's another?
Absolutely. I mean, you can breathe deep and do breathing exercises, which will change your chemicals, but love changes a ton of stuff, and it's
Yeah,
free,
I
and
know.
it's going to help you big time. It's one of the best biohacking tricks I've ever learned is
Yeah,
just love people. So
yeah. I always say love is everything, and I'm sure
it
that
is
we're saying the same thing. Well,
absolutely.
Brian, this has been a lot of fun. And now I just hope that people that have heard this or watched this today uh, can get beyond the I can't believe this is true, because that's what it seems like at the outset. And I remember I had the exact same feeling, and probably Dr. Jeffries did until he tested you. So it's always about the science, right? Because people want to know what is scientifically behind
Right.
this technology that makes it worth my exploring. So you've given us a good explanation today, and obviously you have a lot more that's going on, and the mission and the vision are, you know, not stopping here. So I look forward to hearing more and more about, or more about your next generation of products and developments that you're alluded to today.